from God for you today. What we want to do is we want to spend about 5 minutes in His Word as we go through and take a look at different verses that have touched us and made a difference in our lives. I wanted to share a verse with you that I'd found today that the Lord showed me, and it really stood out to me. It really touched my heart because when we're going through difficult times, a lot of times what we do is we're looking for some type of answer, and He has to be the one that gives it to us. I'd like to share a word from you, and this is the verse that He gave me today. This is Psalm 62, 1 and 2, and it says, "I wait quietly before God, for my victory comes from Him alone. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress where I will never be shaken." Isn't that good? I can wait on the Lord, and I can wait for Him to work in my life. If I spend the time long enough to wait for Him to come in and save me, then I know that He's going to make everything all right. And as long as my trust and my faith is in God's faithfulness rather than my own efforts, then I know that I can succeed. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. Check this out. This is really beautiful. In that verse, Psalm 62, 1, it says, "I will wait quietly before God." That word wait means to do not a thing. It means to just wait patiently, not go out and try and do something on your own, to go out and try and change things, to go out and try and make things happen. What it means is simply waiting on God, simply waiting for Him to make a difference in our lives. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we pause long enough to allow God to be able to do the things that God does because God is God. And when we do that, then we know that we're making a difference in our own lives. And if we go on to the second verse, look at what this tells us. "He alone is my rock. He is my salvation, my fortress where I will never be shaken." That word alone means to be absolutely firm in something. It means that I'm standing by. He's my rock. He's my firm foundation. I am not moving. I am not going to change my mind. I am going to be steadfast in my belief in God's faithfulness. And again, David, when he wrote this psalm to us, actually tells us that we can spend this much time with God, waiting on Him and believing in His faithfulness to come through when we need Him, whether that's financially, whether that's physically, whether that's for a healing that we're looking for, whatever it is that you're needing God to work in your life for you. We know that we can wait on Him, but we have to make sure that our trust is in Him alone. I believe that James told us that same thing. So Psalm 62, 5 and 6 tells us almost the same thing, but it's just a little bit different. Check this out. It says, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress where I will not be shaken." We see these two verses as very similar to verses 3 and 4, but the reality is that it changes things just a little bit differently. It says, "Let all that I am wait on the Lord." That means my body, my soul, and my spirit. That means every single thing that I am is going to wait on the Lord. And it's a different Hebrew word. Check this out. In that verse where it says, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God," that definition in the Hebrew means to be dead to the world around me. It literally is the word for being dead. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to die or kill myself waiting for God to do these things, or that I'm going to die waiting on God. But what it means is I'm going to wait so patiently that I'm not going to do anything else, almost to the point of not breathing. But I'm definitely not going to be talking. I'm definitely not going to be saying negative things. I'm definitely not going to be questioning God. And we talked about that in one of our earlier sessions. But what we really want to do is we want to look closely at these words and what we believe that God is telling us through these different verses. So what we want to do then is we want to see what is the word that the Lord has in store for us today. And this is what I believe the Lord is telling us. In the most difficult things in your life, I will be the only hope for your salvation. Do you trust me? Do you trust God? Do you trust Him to do the things that He said that He's going to do? Do you trust His word and all the promises that are in it? Because when you do, then He's going to come through and you're going to see that God truly is the God of all gods and the King of all kings, and He's the master. He's your rock. He's your salvation. So why not take these tools, equip yourself to go out and make a difference in this world and be that miracle going someplace to happen.